Your Excellency, Mr. President, as a mother, as a wife, as a daughter, you represent everything we have ever wanted in an African man. We spent the first week having conversations which we called Pan-African Conversations, where we spoke truth to power, where we talked about the issues that we felt were pivotal in order for Africa to move forward based on the realities of today. And that resolution that we came up included issues such as discussions pertaining to establishment of a Pan-African television and a Pan-African radio station, which is going to be based right here in Burkina Faso. We felt that was a good place to start in order to counteract the negativity coming out of Western media. We need to undo the lies. We need to undo the misinformation. Children of Africa at home and in the diaspora deserve to know the truth and nothing but the truth.
Yes, hello one, hello all, family, brothers and sisters here in the continent, and to you who are in the diaspora. A few days ago, our African descent, African diaspora, under the leadership of ADDI, visited Burkina Faso. Some of them still in Burkina Faso. They have been given citizenship. It's a good thing that our sisters, our brothers, mothers, fathers, grands and grandchildren are coming back home in Burkina Faso. They visited a museum. I saw African diaspora visited Thomas Sankara Museum. They went to several government offices. They visited the Prime Minister of Burkina Faso, and finally they meet Captain Ibrahim Traoré. During the meeting with Captain Ibrahim Traoré, Dr. Arikana Chihombori-Quao are given opportunity to address on behalf of delegation of African diaspora and Afro descents. She's spoken many things, but two things I want to comment. Of course, you heard at the beginning. Number one is the issue of expectation from African women, African wives, African daughters, from African men. You know, we African men, for some reason, I don't know, I can say like that, we have failed this continent. Because if you look, for instance, right now, how many African leaders, especially presidents, are men in this continent? More than 75%, no, not 70, more than 90% of our presidents are men. But why they cannot undo the Berlin Conference? If you're familiar with this platform, go and do your own research through this platform. You will find that many speeches provided by African women are so strong. But if you listen to the speeches provided by men, leaders, are so weak. It looks like we African men, we are weak. And that's why we are still under colonial influence. So, Dr. Arikana Chihombori, she said that African descent and African diaspora went to Burkina Faso because they saw what African men should do in Captain Ibrahim Traoré. And that's why they were convinced to travel from US, from Caribbean, from Europe to Ouagadougou in Burkina Faso to join Captain Ibrahim Traoré. So, African men, we have to do what our mothers, our wives, our daughters expecting from us. Because historically, if you look the history, of course, maybe it is written by Europeans. They are writing to their own interests. For instance, our history is showing us that it's European men who came to this continent and finally conquered Africa. No European female who came to this continent during colonialism to conquer Africa. It is European men who came to this continent and explore some issues and do some damage and take our resources. Till today, you see it's European men who are influencing Africans. So where is African men? Because it doesn't make sense that few Europeans leaders came together in Berlin 1884 to 1885, divided this continent, take what they want from us, and yet today we say we are free, we are independent. We have more than 54 heads of state. Among of them, more than 50 heads of state are men, and we cannot undo the Berlin Conference. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So African men, we need to undo the Berlin Conference. We need to do what our mothers, our wives, our daughters expecting from us. Otherwise, we will lose trust from our wives. We lose trust from our mothers. We lose trust from our daughters. So let us act as African men. African men means king. King, it means someone who can rule. But right now, we African men, we have dissolved into solvent. I don't know why. So apart from that, another issue that I'm very interested with is the issue of creating a building, creating of a Pan-African television in Burkina Faso and radio. You know, we need to feed the truth to the minds of Africans. You know, yesterday I shared a video of former AU chairperson commissioner Nkosana Dlamini Zuma. She's spoken many things about this continent. She's spoken about wars, conflicts. But you know why we are fighting? It doesn't make sense that someone can come from Europe, give us weapons, give us guns, give to our young men, women, and tell them go and fight. And yet we accept to go and fight, go and kill others with no reason. We need to feed the light of information. We need to have a good information, light of information in your minds to know that we Africans, we are one. Right now, we are divided by Europeans, and we have been told that we are not one. We differ. And that's why we fight. You may ask why those Africans, jihadists, are fighting in Burkina Faso. What they want? They are being sponsored by France. Why? Because they are being fed fake news and bad information about Burkina Faso. They have been told that maybe they are poor because of the government. But let me tell you, brothers and sisters, there's no need for us to fight with our governments. There's no need to kill others because of the mistakes of few people. What we need to do is to come together and unite and speak with one voice and demand what we think is ours. If we can do so, brothers and sisters, we cannot fight each other. We can stop fighting each other and we can respect one another. You know, right now you see, for instance, in Sudan, where two generals are fighting each other. Those are Sudanese. They're not fighting with Americans or Russians or Chinese. They're fighting with themselves. They're destroying their properties. They're destroying their homes. They're killing their mothers, their children, their cousins. Why? Because they are not well informed. If you know this is my mother, if you see any woman, she's my mother, she's my wife, she's my daughter, she's an African, why you kill her or you kill other people? So we have been informed with full of hatred, we have been informed full of disrespecting and see each other like animals. But in reality, we are not animals. So I think as Africans, we need to find a way how we can feed live information, how we can have good information to our people. So through this Pan-African television and the Pan-African radio, I think this will help Africans to get live information. We have been told by others our stories. Right now, what you hear about Sudan is being told by CNN, Dutch Well, BBC, and other Western media. So we need to have our own media that we tell our own story, that we talk about the truth about this continent. If you listen, Dr. Arikana Chihombori-Quao, she said that they were told that don't go to Burkina Faso because Burkina Faso is a war-torn. Why? Because they use this media to spread lies and threat to the people who want to go back home. So they don't want Africans to go back home. Why? Because they know that if Africans will go home, Africa will not be the same. These Africans who are in the diaspora, they have knowledge. These Africans who are in Caribbean, they have knowledge. Africans in the continent, they have knowledge. If you combine these people from different places, the African continent can be another continent in terms of knowledge, skills, and the way of doing things. So what they do is to threatening Africans who are in the diaspora, who are in Caribbean or somewhere else apart from the continent, don't go back home. Even those who are in the continent are being threatened that run away. I saw some fake news about Mali. So people are being threatened that there's bad things, something bad is happening. But all in all, to make sure that Africans are not concentrating on building their nations and concentrating on fear that at any time something can happen to us. So let us not build infrastructures, let us not do what is good in life. And of course, at the end of the day, they use African youth to destroy what we have, even little things that we have created to destroy. So my message to African youth, please stop being used. Stop being used to destroy this continent. You young African, that is not your duty. That is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to build and to defend our mother continent, Africa. If you destroy your home, who will build your home? If you destroy your continent, who will build that continent? So the Chinese, let us assume we are killing each other and we are all disappeared. What will happen, brothers and sisters? What will happen? So I think there's a need for we Africans to make sure that we respect each other. There's a need for we Africans to respect each other. So it doesn't make sense that we are being used by others to destroy our motherland, to kill each other. So I think this Pan-African television and radio will portray good narratives about this continent and will build our young men and women, our people, and feed them light minds. The minds is something that like an empty vessel. So if you feed foolishness, we become fools. If you feed them light things, we become bright. So we need to feed our minds good things about this continent. So brothers and sisters, those are just my comment from what I heard from Dr. Arikana Chihombori-Quao. And on the issue of investments, so I saw Pan-African Afro-descents have much interesting in investing. Yes, let us come and invest in industries, because we are talking about industrialization. We are talking about young people who are fighting. If we can give them opportunity, they can stop fighting, and we will not see Africans who are fighting each other in the continent. They will be busy doing jobs, doing things like that, innovating, something like that. So family, of that, let me say have a nice time. See you next time in other video. Do not forget to share the message to other Africans here in the continent, and to those who are also in the diaspora. So have a nice time. See you next time. Thank you.
Thank you, Africa, Mama Africa. Oh, yeah. You make African great. Thank you, Africa. Thank you, Africa.